Drink up that Gatorade.
Ooh,
Good
that was
rest.
good.
What, was this break good for the team? Was it good mentally? Tell me what good comes out of this.
I'll tell you after the game tomorrow night. But I do think this late in the year, Vic, I think tough schedule coming out of the break, not only from a strength of schedule standpoint, a lot of games, a lot of travel, back-to-backs. So anytime you can get 3 days between contests, try to use that to your advantage. Get some mental rest, get some physical rest, emotional, whatever it may be. And hopefully that allows us to come out tomorrow night and just play with a tremendous amount of energy.
I know one of the goals coming into this year on that point was to be rested going into the playoffs more so than last year. 2 weeks to go, but how do you feel the team is positioned to accomplish that part of the goal?
I think I'd give an unfortunate answer to that. I think guys will be much better rested than last year because of the injuries that we've had. You know, you look at Aaron Gordon's game missed, you look at Jamal's, you look at Nikola missing the 10 days that he missed, with the multiple injuries that he's been dealing with. So I know that on paper Nikola's minutes are probably at a career high, but I think overall with 7 to go, I think we're in a good place. These are going to be 7 really difficult games, so we'll take it one game at a time. But overall, I don't think we have the championship hangover playing into June, which I think was a part of last year. And I think some guys, because of the injuries they've had to deal with, have been able to get some rest while they've been out with those respective injuries.
I think one recurring theme of the last couple of years has been internal accountability amongst players, but even just everybody in the gym. Where do you think, is that something that you think grows? It's a long season, but maybe at this point in the season it becomes a little bit more ramped up.
With the guys
holding each other accountable.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's so important to have. And I challenge our guys, like it's okay to say that, hey man, I didn't do this, I gotta be better. And it's okay to say, hey, I need more from you. I try to do it all the time. I give our players a tremendous amount of credit. And I always hold myself accountable first and foremost. And hopefully that is something we as a group continue to do because we have to have each other's backs and we have to push each other to become the best that we can be. And every great team has that. And I think we do a good job of that. And I think there's always room for improvement.
Minnesota's really made it, a point to put a lot of pressure on Jamal and Mike. What ways can you guys kind of free those two up?
Well, I would say, before anything about Jamal, about Mike, about this, about that, there's 2 things that jump off the page when you look at the last 2 games. It's the points allowed off offensive rebounds and turnovers. If you go back and look at those 2 box scores, we're allowing 52.5 points per game in offensive rebounds and turnovers. So Mike, Jamal, this, that, you're not going to beat Minnesota if you give them 52 points. I mean, they had 12 offensive rebounds for 29 points last game. Game 2, they blew us out in Minnesota. We had 37 points were given up off of our mistakes. Aside from that, we have to do a better job of freeing both Michael and Jamal up, giving them more room to operate, creating separation for them. Get McDaniels, get Edwards, get Alexander Walker, who's ever charged with guarding those guys. Just give them more room to attack. But it starts with defending, rebounding, taking care of it, and playing in the open court so they can't implement all the defensive game plans that they try to employ against us.
When the practices are so few and far between at this point in the season, I imagine you feel like there's a lot to accomplish when you are in a full practice setting like this. How do you go about prioritizing the things that you want to accomplish in these limited settings?
Yeah, I mean, we practiced today, but it was a very brief practice. And so I have to be smart going into a back-to-back, going into a 3 and 4, knowing that Jamal, Nikola, Aaron, different players, dealing with their own respective bumps and bruises, that I don't want to win the battle, lose the war. So we prioritize cleaning up our offense, going through things. This is how they guard us. This is how we can counter it. We talk about going through their offense. This is how we want to try to guard things, give them different looks, and get some reps on that. And then we'll repeat that tomorrow so we have a little bit more comfort with what we're trying to do. But it's easy to say, we got to do something different. Well, we also just have to play a hell of a lot harder. I think they've approached these games like it's a rivalry, and I think we've approached these games like it's another game sometimes. And one of my coaches, Andrew Munson, this is his scout, he says that after every time we play them, he goes, I've watched their last 5 to 7 games, and they never play as hard as they do against us. And you can sense that, you can notice it. So you throw everything else out the window. You know, this team's beaten us 5 games in a row, and hopefully that can, that can resonate within our guys, and we can come out with the proper mindset tomorrow.
Does that mean it is becoming a rivalry? I know you said earlier this season you didn't feel like it was totally there.
We just got to play harder, whether it's a rivalry or not. I mean, I don't care who you're playing. You're playing St. Buzzies. They beat you 5 times in a row. Sometimes your pride's got to kick in and not allow somebody to come into your house and continue to kick your ass.
Michael, what are you looking for from a guy like Zeke, who's probably trying to earn some playoff minutes in these final stretch of regular season games?
Yeah, continue to do what he's done and give him the opportunity. I think Zeke, when we were banged up, he was given a great opportunity to play, and he took advantage of it. And knocking down the threes, guarding the ball, I think his one-on-one defense has been really effective. Being a rim protector, using his athleticism around the rim, help us on the glass. I think that's an area that all 5 guys on the floor have to continue to really focus on, is gang rebounding so we can get out and run. And then obviously when we're fully healthy, those minutes are harder to come by. So then you get back to just staying ready like he did when called upon in Charlotte many months ago. So proud of him, and now he's just got to, like everybody, if you get into the postseason and that rotation starts to shrink, it all comes down to matchups, and you got to stay ready and you got to be disciplined.
How much of practice was, I know you said it was light and brief, but how much was Jamal able to do?
Oh yeah, he got through all the practice. Again, we weren't going up and down. We didn't do a lot of live competitive stuff, but Jamal was out there for the entirety of it, and hopefully that bodes well for tomorrow night.
Zeke was just saying you guys kind of add plays, sets throughout the year. Is there a balance to be found of adding new plays versus also not getting too far away from what you do? And if so, when did you find that balance, I guess, in your career?
Yeah, I think what usually happens is you introduce a play as an ATO, and then it has some success. After timeout, for those that aren't familiar with coaching vernacular, and then that ATO becomes part of your kind of play call list. Now the guys understand that now it's not just written on the board out of a timeout. It's something we can call dead ball free throw, and we can execute it. And then as the season goes along, you see changes in how teams are guarding us. So we have to react to that. We have to help our guys and give them counters to whatever the defense is trying to do. But you always don't want to get away from how we played, which is a read and react offense, playing through Nikola no matter what they're doing, space the floor properly, and playing the game, reading the game. And I think that's something our guys have done a great job for many years now.
One more?
All right, appreciate it.
Did you get to watch Cooper Flag at all?
A little bit. I don't want to watch the
ball on offense. Going into the game against Minnesota, they really thrive against our turnovers and getting a lot of rebounds. So really valuing the ball, make sure we box out, and half-court defense is really the emphasis.
It seems like Minnesota takes this matchup very seriously. Do you get that sense, or do you get a sense that Denver takes the matchup seriously?
Yeah, we just got to come out with the same energy no matter what team we're playing. A lot of teams look at us as a game that's an important game, and so we got to understand that we're not the underdogs anymore. We're a powerhouse, and so we got to start coming ready for every game, regardless of who we're playing, whether it's the best team or the worst team. It doesn't matter. We got to play and build the right habits every time.
It's been a long time since you guys have actually practiced. Just what is it like during the season, kind of going from game to rest, as opposed to being able to work on things a little bit more extensively in between?
Yeah, sometimes, it gets tough not being able to practice because the game schedule is so intensive that you never really have time for an actual practice and building chemistry in practice. But it was good to have a practice today. Good to iron a few things out, sort of things out on defense, add a couple more plays. Practices are important.
You say add a couple more plays. How much of that happens throughout the course of the season where the playbook gets layers added to it?
Oh yeah, you start the season with, you already start the season with a lot of plays, but then by the end of the year you probably double or even a little bit more than that, the amount of plays that we have. We're constantly adding plays and walkthroughs, the day of games, practices whenever we have them. So it's a lot to remember. So we gotta stay sharp with it.
What's it like to play with Russ off the screen?
It's super rewarding because he's so unselfish. I feel like every time you screen for him, he wants to look for you. He's the type of guy that wants to see you do well. And so if you set a screen for him, he's probably going to pass it to you, and it's probably going to be a great pass. So the fact that you have someone so unselfish and so willing, like to pass, not only just Yoke but him as well, it's fun.
What have you guys been focusing in on in terms of how Minnesota has challenged you in the past handful of games?
Yeah, I mean, they've been really physical. They've come out with energy and aggression, and a lot of that has shown up in how hard they play defensively and how hard they crash the offensive glass. So, like, we've been really focusing on this practice was boxing out, not letting them get on the glass early, because they get like 20 points, like 10 offensive rebounds turns into 20 points every time we play them, and then the turnovers averaging like 19 turnovers against them. So that we got to really limit that, and if we limit those two things, that accounts for like 50 of their points. So their numbers go drastically down, and I think that'll be the key for us tomorrow night.
You're doing rebounding drills today?
Yeah, boxing out, different kind of drills. You're in help side, and then shot goes up, go boxing out, stuff like that. Yeah.
What's one thing you think you've improved on the most individually during this year?
I don't know. I feel like my defense. I feel like I'm just more comfortable, more aware of like just my awareness on the court, knowing where everyone is. I also feel like my blocks. I feel like I got a little better at blocking shots, whether that be when I'm guarding someone or coming over to help side. I feel like my timing has really improved on that, and just like my seeing when it's available. You know what I mean?
Kind of building off that in the last 6 or 7 games, what do you feel like you need to show to earn a spot in the playoff competition?
I think it's defensive rebounding. I think that's when I'm in there, when I'm on the court, that's what I'm in there for. Being able to provide some physicality, some toughness, some defense, some glue things that the star players would want from a role player. I feel like being able to provide that would show them that, oh yeah, he's ready. He can help us contribute in playoff minutes.
What goes into that rebounding work for you specifically in situations where you're switched onto someone and then out on the perimeter one shot?
I think the biggest thing is not leaking out, especially like when you contest a shot. I feel like a lot of guys, the tendency is to, when the shot goes up and you contest, kind of start, backpedaling towards half court. Rather than doing that, get a shot, get a contest on the shot, and then come back into play. So any of those long shots, those long misses, you can be ready to get those.
What's the biggest thing that's helped you improve as a shot blocker? Is it watching film, just playing more? Just curious about what you're doing.
I think the biggest thing is watching film. I mean, playing helps. Like, if you're not playing, we're playing a small-sided game. All the guys that aren't playing all play every off day. But I think the biggest thing is watching film from good shot blocks, and also watching opportunities where I could have had a potential time to block a shot. It's really just having that help first mindset, being able to help cover your teammates so that they can play more aggressive.
Curious about who you watched in general.
Really, PY. PY is great at that. Just seeing him and seeing how many times he gets blocks, whether it be on help side or whether it be someone trying to drive him, that really inspired me to block shots as well.
Have you been doing any composing or playing lately?
Yeah, pretty much every day still. Usually when I go home, that's the first thing I do, just drop my bags and go play for a little bit, whether it be 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. I'm always doing that.
Are you playing your own stuff or are you playing other people's stuff?
Lately I've been playing my own stuff. I've been working on just like improvisations and like being able to just think of something to be able to play, or have someone tell me some like chords like combined and then just kind of play and add on top of that. So it's been a lot of fun.
Do any of the skills from that translate to the basketball court?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I know from a young age, like the number one thing that translates is just the repetition, the constant practicing to get something down. I mean, that translates into anything in basketball. If you want to get better at basketball, you got to constantly practice something over and over and keep repeating it. It's good.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Zeke. Appreciate it.
Obviously they beat us, kind of got the best of us the last couple of games. In these last, 7 games are really important. So just being locked in, being ready, obviously the turnovers have been a big part of the last 2 games. We got to bounce back. We got to get a win against these guys.
Do you feel like there is more a sense of internal accountability amongst the players as the season goes on, as we get ready for the playoffs, or is that something you still think is needed here in the coming weeks?
I think it's always needed. I think, player-led teams are always really good, when the guys can kind of look at themselves and say, it's on us, it's on the coaches. That's typically when the teams have been the best. And I think we have a team that's pretty good with that stuff. We understand that defensive struggles are our fault. and that's a good thing because we can fix them. So as long as we know that we need to be better and know what we need to be better at, then I think we're going to be in a really good spot going into the playoffs.
How important is it, do you think, to get a win against this Minnesota team since they are, they had the number the last couple?
Watch out! Oh, look out here, Jamal. No, it is important. I think that when a team, especially they've won the last 3 or whatever it was, when a team has beat you that many times in a row, it's important to just get a win, especially a team that we could play in the playoffs and probably will play in the playoffs. So it is important to find what works against them. I know the coach will have us ready.
What makes them a tough matchup for you guys?
They're just good. I mean, they're a physical team. They're well coached. They play hard. They play the right way. And obviously their personnel, they've got a lot of, a ton of talent. They've it's been a good challenge for us the last couple of years. Obviously they're a little different this year, but they're still really good. They still play the same way. They still have the same mentality. So it's a good challenge for us, especially at this time. To make sure we're in the right spot going into the playoffs.
You mentioned the turnovers. Is there a type of turnover that you guys are really looking to clean up?
I think just the live ball turnovers. The turnovers where they get out on the break and they get easy ones. When they get those, it gets their guys into it. And they feed off those things. I think they're a team that does a good job of, creating those turnovers, scoring on the break. And when they do, it kind of gets their defenders into it. It gets, the team into it. That's when they get tough and they get real physical.
How do you guys limit those?
Just get the ball to the right guys. Get it to Nikola in his spots. Get the ball to Jamal and help Jamal out. We got to screen better. We got to be more physical on the offensive end too. Maybe whatever it is, get an illegal screen. We got to screen guys better and get guys the ball where they're supposed to have it, so they don't have to fight, to get to their spot. So we got to, on our spots better, just be more physical.
What's something you think you've improved on most throughout the season, just individually?
Besides smoldering looks.
By improved. That's tough. I think that there's a lot of things that I think that I've tried to fix or try to find a routine, but I think my routine has gotten really good. I think that I've, me and Ogie have kind of, got to a spot where we understand each other and understand what we need going into the game. And my goal is to be, available for all of them. Obviously, I didn't accomplish that, but I think just my routine. I think there's a lot of things that, in the game that I would say I've done really well at sometimes, and sometimes I haven't done as well. So, my job is to make sure I'm doing those at the highest level. When the time comes, and that's always going to be work in progress. It's not going to be something where, obviously I'm going to improve, and there's going to be times when I'm playing really well, there's going to be times when I'm not playing as well. But as long as my routine's the same, I'm showing up, I'm putting the work in, I'm doing the right things and have the right approach and the right preparation, I think that's what's most important. And I think where I'm at now with my approach, my preparation, and my routine is a lot better than where I was at the start of the year. And that just comes with experience, and that comes with learning and, listening.
What does improving the routine look like?
Just getting it, I guess you can improve in a lot of ways, but doing things at the right time, doing the same things, finding what benefits you the most and gets you right physically and gets you right mentally, and just doing those things constantly and finding a time where, all right, I have to do this at this time, I have to ice bath after a game. There's a lot of different things that you want to fit into that routine. Just being consistent, I think, is the biggest part. So once you find what you like and what makes you most confident, what makes you feel the best, just doing those things more consistently.
Did you ever try anything that really didn't work for you?
We tried a lot of things that didn't work. I think at the end of the day, I always come out and try to play the same way, and I think I've done a good job when I'm out there. I'm playing hard, but there's a lot of things you try you don't like. Whether it's a drink that you're drinking before the game, it's food that you tried to eat before the game, whether it's the night before, maybe I'm shooting too much, whatever it is. There's a lot of things I've tried and I just didn't like, or I don't know. I wouldn't say it didn't work. It's just trial and error, but I think I put myself in a pretty good spot. Yeah, I've done a pretty good job.
You mentioned helping Jamal. Minnesota's been super physical with him. How do you help him in this matchup?
Screen. I think, like I said, I think in the OKC game we won. We had a couple guys take some, pretty good screens and get him open. And it's hard for him to bring the ball up, get the offense set while he's got 3 good defenders that are all switching, taking turns, picking them up full court. And they got more than 3, now. But guys just switching off, hounding them the whole time. So taking an early screen, while he's bringing it up, getting him loose early. Maybe it's somebody else bringing it up and letting him run free for a little bit. Is good. So whatever we can do to help him, we got to do. But we got to be physical and can't let them push us around.
When you say maybe you shot too much the previous night, do you kind of find out that there's a balance over time, I guess, between making sure you get the reps you need and then overdoing it, I guess?
Yeah, you can overshoot, I think. I mean, a lot of guys have their own thing. I know that I've came up here in Russ. I'll come back up at night and Russ is rebounding for himself and running around and, full sweat doing his thing, and that's what Russ likes, I found a routine that's good for me. I've seen guys, that come in and just want to get touches and get the feel for it. Like I said, there's a guy like Russ that literally rebounds his own ball and runs around at night. You got to find what you like and what you're comfortable with. And obviously, last year is different than this year because the workload and the minutes I played. And there's been times where, maybe I was doing too much and we had to cut back. So my legs felt good for the game. But I think I've gotten a good routine. There are some times where it takes less and maybe you have an injury. So it's always different. There's been times where I felt really, really good. My body has had no problems. And I'm up here at night and I'm shooting, I'm doing everything. And there's been times where, I've had a nagging injury and, I'm not coming up at night at all. It's just a balance and figuring out what feels best at the time. But like I said, I think Ogie's done a really good job of, guiding me. And I think that, we watch Nikola, we watch Russ and those guys and kind of, take things from them. But Ogie's done a really good job of helping me.
Can you explain this?
Yeah. So the person next to me in that, it's actually a picture. It's a picture of me, the point guard at Kansas, DeJuan Harris, and then a player that played at Missouri, Isaiah Mosley, who's in the G League. We were at dinner in Chicago. That's actually when I was in high school. I know it doesn't look like it, but
You put this out there.
my mom put that out there on Facebook. If you want to find pictures of me, just my mom's Facebook is probably the best place.
Real quick, last. I know last year Nikola sent out a text message after the All-Star break. A lot of guys said it was, galvanizing. Has anything like that happened this year? Not necessarily from him, but somebody that just said, "Hey, here's the mission."
Well, yeah. I mean, we've had I think every team has talks, and like you said, I think Nikola's text obviously just coming from him and who he is. That's not long text. It's not usually what he does, but we've had moments. Nothing needs to be shared or nothing that's been crazy. But I think there is moments in the year that maybe pull you together and bring you together. Maybe it's big wins. Maybe it's a message. Maybe it's somebody speaking up. We've had things like that. But I think there's obviously moments. I think tomorrow's a big game where I think we had a game late last year against Minnesota. That was a big win for us, and I think that really helped us going into the playoffs. It could be a win. There's still games left. It could be a win that helps. It could be a moment. It could be a play. But I think this team's always had a good culture. I don't think we worry about that stuff. Obviously, there's some stuff we need to clean up, but we'll be ready. I know the coaches will have us ready. I know the guys in the locker room will all come together, and we'll be ready.
One more. All right, cool.
Thanks,
Thank you, Christian.
Thank you.